When Liverpool secured the signing of Darwin Núñez from Benfica in the summer of 2022, it felt like a power move, a statement of intent. At €75 million up front, potentially rising to €100 million, he became the most expensive signing in the club's history. And for good reason. He had just scored 34 goals in a single season for Benfica, including standout performances in the Champions League. Tall, fast, aggressive. He looked like the perfect modern number 9. Fast forward to May 2025, Liverpool Premier League champions under manager Arne, but Núñez's name barely comes up in the conversation. The big goals never came, the promise never fully materialized, and now an exit seems almost inevitable. So what went wrong? Let's take a closer look at Darwin Núñez's Liverpool journey through the Klopp years into the Slot era and ask, was he ever the right fit for this club? Let's start with what made Liverpool so excited in the first place. During the 21-22 season at Benfica, Darwin Núñez was electric. He scored 34 goals in 41 appearances, including 6 in the Champions League, and became one of Europe's most feared young strikers. He wasn't polished, not in the technical sense, but what he had was harder to teach. A relentless physicality, fearless directness, and an eye for space behind the defensive line. He played on the edge, constantly on the move. Benfica's system gave him the freedom to drift into wide areas and attack channels and isolate defenders. With quick transitions and space to run into, he thrived. Benfica used a 2-striker system for much of the season, often pairing Núñez with a more stationary forward. That allowed Darwin to drift to that left-hand side channel where he could isolate his fullbacks, cut inside on his right foot, and attack space between the centre-backs. He had this uncanny ability to turn simple passes into dangerous transitions. Whether receiving deep or sprinting off the last man, his timing was excellent. He would average 2.7 shots per 90 minutes, and most were high XG chances, not speculative long-range efforts. And in Europe that season, he delivered when it mattered, scoring twice against Barcelona, put one past Bayern Munich, and crucially netted in both legs of the quarter-final tie versus Liverpool. That's when Klopp and Anfield took notice. Even in those games, Núñez didn't look refined, but he looked dangerous, and that made the difference. Tall, explosive, hard to mark, always in motion. At just 22 years of age, he looked like a prototype of the modern striker, especially one, Erling Haaland. Liverpool had watched the post-Mane transition unfold awkwardly, so when the opportunity came to sign a high upside forward, they moved very quickly, reportedly beating out Manchester United in the process. Liverpool believed they could shape Núñez into the next great Anfield forward. What they didn't realise was his brilliance might have only worked in the chaos of Benfica's system. Coming into Jürgen Klopp's Liverpool was never going to be easy for Darwin Núñez. By 2022, Klopp had spent nearly a decade building a team defined by rhythm, cohesion, and intelligence. Every player knew their press triggers, their zones, their combinations. But for Darwin Núñez, for all his gifts, was not a system player. So let's start with the first season in 2022-2023. Núñez played 29 league matches, 19 starts, scoring 9 goals and providing 3 assists. He also missed a league-high 20 big chances. Just for reference, Marcus Rashford and Erling Haaland were the only 2 players to miss more chances than Darwin Núñez that season. He also had good moments, an acrobatic volley against West Ham, a brace versus Southampton, but countless misfires from inside the box, open goals, and the stats reflected a broader truth. He was getting chances, but just couldn't finish them at all. He ended the season with an XG of 15.3 in the league, but underperformed it by almost 6 goals. But still, Jürgen Klopp stood by him like any manager should do when a striker is not performing at maybe the level you need, expect, want. You know, the excuses of, you know, he causes chaos, he's always a threat, he just needs time. These were things that were being splurted out by the manager Jürgen Klopp at the time. But as you guys can see, with some of these misses, they are so unforgivable in moments of games where we really needed a goal. Then we get into year 2 in the 23-24 season, and the trend just remained. Slightly improved composure, a few more goals, but still so inconsistent with his link-up play, and still not even remotely close to clinical enough to be Liverpool's long-term number 9. And I think what was the most frustrating thing about Núñez was the fact that he always looked dangerous. He had the pace to stretch teams, the aggression to press, and the bravery to shoot from any angle. But Klopp's Liverpool required more than threat. It required precision. And with Núñez, he always seemed to be offbeat, rushing finishes, slipping when he should pass, delaying when he should shoot. Even with Klopp's trust, he was never undroppable. Jota, Gakpo, and later Diaz would rotate in. Núñez remained the wild card, loved for his heart, questioned for his execution. Then, of course, comes the big change for Liverpool in the summer of 2024. Klopp leaving, Arne Slot arrives from Feyenoord. Where Klopp's system thrived on emotion and chaos, Slot's is built on control and repetition. High possession, tightly coordinated positional play, forwards who double as midfielders in build-up. Basically everything Núñez isn't. Slot had inherited a Liverpool squad with technical talent, and he doubled down on possession principles. He pushed Trent Alexander-Arnold further inside. He demanded that forwards rotate intelligently, link play under pressure, and maintain tight positional structure. So where does that leave Núñez? Well, it meant that he was on the outside looking in. In the title-winning season, Núñez started just 12 games at the time of this video, with 7 goals in all competitions. Played mostly as a late game substitute. He would look uncomfortable when asked to play with his back to goal. He often took too many touches, and in combination play, he lagged behind the rest. Slot prefers efficiency and discipline. Núñez thrives in improvisation and adrenaline. The mismatch couldn't have been clearer. There were even games where Slot left him on the bench entirely. And then, of course, we can't forget the cryptic messages that he would post out on Twitter and then delete. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride for Darwin Núñez, and I think for both parties, it would be better if he were to leave this summer. But what do you guys think? Has Darwin Núñez been unfairly judged? Should he get one more season under Arne Slot, or is it time for a fresh start? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I'll be replying to the best ones. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, give the video a like, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for more Liverpool content all summer long. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.